I've not heard of that. Wow. Well, I never. Learning something every day. Greetings and welcome back to another reaction video. I am Mr. H and you are my friends as my family and I delve into all things USA. If you're new to the channel and that sounds good, then join our community. Help us on this journey to learn and to be educated about your amazing country. Today's reaction video is a Lost in the Pond Lawrence Brown YouTube sensation. He hasn't long become an American citizen, he hasn't long bought a house, and now he's going to be talking about 6 house objects I only used after moving to America. Now, house objects, I'm just trying to think. House objects, maybe, I don't know, I can't think. House objects, I mean, air conditioning unit would be one, I presume. A little ice machine in the fridge. Don't really get many of those over here. I mean, they do them. I can't think. If you would like to appear on our website, all you need to do is take a picture of yourself with the merch or wearing the merch or drinking from the merch. Email your pictures to mrshandfriends@gmail.com and we will put you on our Hall of Fame website. Links to the merch shop, etc. in the pin comments. Right, I think that's enough of my peddling. Let's get on with the video.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to objects and stuff. Specifically, objects and stuff that you find around the house that I only encountered after moving to the United States. In previous videos, I gave you a tour of my first American house as well as an exclusive look at my dusty garage. And so if you want to join me on this journey of putting together this place and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, come with me as we look at 6 housing objects that I only encountered after moving to the United States. It's locked again. 2 words, public toilets. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, what have public toilets got to do with houses? And the answer is simple. Nothing. But they do very neatly lead me into my next point, so shut it. Because you've probably heard Brits like me moaning about the lack of privacy in American public toilets. We've got that gap and everything. Well, when it comes to our respective houses, that dedication to privacy, or privacy, depending on how you say it, is reversed. What? How? Do British rooms have gaps in the door? No, I'm not talking about gaps, I'm talking about locks on the door. Furthermore, I'm not just talking about bathrooms, but several rooms in the house. In America, many rooms, and in particular bedrooms, will have a lock on the doorknob that looks a little bit like this. Growing up in Britain, I found these to be far less common, which is a shame because they just give you that peace of mind that somebody's not going to walk in on you while you're reading a book. And for lock completists, they might sometimes take the form of a button, but there might also be some sort of rotating lock mechanism that looks like this. So to recap, while Americans might not value public toilet privacy, the opposite is true with bedrooms. Sometimes Britain and America seem like alternate versions of each other, and perhaps one of the finest examples of this can be found in the delivery of post, except Americans don't call it post, they call it mail. And while us Brits like to distinguish between a mailbox on the street, in other words a post box, and a residential mailbox, aka a letterbox in your door, us Americans call this a mailbox and this a mailbox. It's all a bit confusing. Thankfully, in this video I'm just talking about this. To Americans, this low-shaped contraption has just simply been a way of life since the day they were born. Perhaps some Americans don't even give them a second thought. But to people like me who grew up in a different country with different mailboxes, there's a certain charm to them. After all, the only time that we get to see these outside of living here is in the movies. Oh look, here's Kiefer Sutherland playing mailbox baseball in Stand By Me. Here's Forrest Gump and the kid from The Sixth Sense framed by a gorgeous line of mailboxes while the kid is too busy looking at Bubba, Jenny and Forrest's mum in the distance. Here's a mailbox playing a key role in a Keanu Reeves.
I like that film. Glass House.
Sandra Bullock film that sadly isn't Speed, but a film you don't remember called The Lake House.
Lake House.
And here's a pair of wayward vandals graffitiing a mailbox in Up. It's been a while since I've seen that film, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here. The point is, American movies have this uncanny knack of making things seem almost magic, even things as simple as this. And as somebody who, for the past 14 years, has only lived in rented American accommodation, I've been used to picking up my mail from what was essentially a glorified high school locker. This represents my first proper American mailbox, and I feel like I've finally arrived. In the past, I've told you about how during the summertime it's useful on American houses to have a bug shield. That way you can open your windows, or in
Fly screens, we call them.
this case, your door. And in theory, this makes it harder for bees and mosquitoes and all of the other insects to get into your house. Doesn't seem to work, but the theory's good. The one thing I haven't spoken about is winter time, because when the temperatures plummet to minus 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit...
Guess the snow shovel would be one.
There aren't really many bugs trying to get in anyway. Instead, you have to protect your door from the elements. And that's where the storm door comes in. Sorry, I don't have much room here. Can I...
It's funny. I've not heard of that. The storm door. Wow. Well, I never. Learning something every day.
Can I switch places? The storm door, where you can see this light is reflecting onto, is a door that sort of sits outside of the main door, and it sort of serves two purposes. Firstly, it's another barrier for burglars to have to overcome. And secondly, when you've got frost and snow and rain, it sort of protects this door from getting ruined by those weather elements.
Wow.
And in addition to storm doors, you also have storm windows, which sort of do the same thing for windows that this does for the doors. And that's really it, because we don't have storms quite of the severity that you might experience here in the Midwest. Storm doors and storm windows aren't really that common in Britain, hence why they made it onto this list. Hello, what's this? A fan outside of my house? Might have to put in a restraining order. Seriously, I did have to do that 3 years ago, so keep your distance. In previous videos, you've heard me talk to death about how American homes have air conditioning and British homes just don't. And so I don't want to dwell too much on what happens with air conditioning inside the house, but rather outside. Because you see, for the first time since I moved to the United States, the air conditioning in my home is entirely central air. In other words, the aircon is built entirely into the house instead of me having to install window units.
Wow.
Which is great. And because of that, we have this thing, which I haven't really learned the name of. Perhaps it's a generator of some kind.
What is that called? Let me know in the comments below. I've obviously seen these, but I've never really clocked what they are and what they do. But yeah, let me know. What are they called? Please let me know.
Anyway, what it does is it sits outside, the fans spin around, and it creates airconage. And the outsides of many houses will feature one of these throughout the United States.
Wow.
I have heard that it requires a little bit of maintenance and cleaning, so after this video goes out, I will be reading all about that with a hot bath. And so we go from fans outside my house to fans above my bed. Seriously, don't get any ideas. I am married. Or in much of the United States, just as with air conditioning, ceiling fans are found in most houses. Now, for the past 15 years, in a variety of...
Don't get too close.
rented American apartment complexes, I've always had ceiling fans that had a chain that you pulled to get the fan going. But now, with the acquisition of my first American house, things work a little bit differently. It's doing it.
Yeah.
That was a trick. I was actually using a remote control. Still cool.
I am so gullible.
Cool though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Literally. I've just realised it's winter and this should not be on. Remember in my last video when I showed you around my garage and we found this spare gate hanging around in the rafters? Well, it turns out this isn't a spare gate, but a missing one. Since I announced that I'd become a United States citizen and bought my first American house, some of you sent me messages along the lines of, "Oh, well done, Lawrence, you are living the American dream." But last time I checked, the perfect picture of the American dream involved having a white picket fence. And I don't have any data to back this up, it's just all from observation. But it feels like, at least here in the Midwest, that there are far fewer white picket fences and a great deal more chain link. Some Americans that I've spoken to seem to be of the opinion that chain link fences are kind of ugly. And I sort of agree, but if I put together a large enough collection of these fence pieces, I might be able to construct my own Hell in a Cell in the back garden, so that'd be fun. Anyway, we don't really use this style of fence much around British gardens. And from memory, this is the first chain link fence that I've had since moving to the United States.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If you could like this video, we would really appreciate it. It really helps us out and it helps with the algorithm. So drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, come and join us, help educate us. Well, mainly me, really. I need educating on your amazing country. You guys are the best. And all it leaves me to say is take care, God bless, and see y'all in the next video.